Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Celtics Roundtable, powered by CLNS Media. Folks, we got a great Monday mailbag edition for you. I am your host, Sam Sheehan. That's right. Matt Ignall was dosed by fentanyl by Czech teenagers at my behest, so now I run the podcast. I'm joined by Lucky's Pipe in the Rec Specs. Lucky, how we doing?
We great. We wins. We great.
And joining us from the Real Cool Time Pod, which you can catch on YouTube, we got special guest Ryan Hebert, a.k.a. Hebert of Riffs. Ryan, how we doing today?
I'm having a good night, man. It's gonna be fun.
We're gonna get to some mailbag questions with you guys, but first, we want to talk about the sponsor of this show, this fine show today. This episode is going to be sponsored by Action Heat. Action Heat makes the world's best heated clothing. That's right. Heatable clothing powered by rechargeable batteries. It's the perfect solution to keep you toasty and warm, even in the most frigid winter weather. Frigid like that Detroit Pistons shooting we saw out there today. Burn. Action Heat will not burn you, though. They've got perfectly temperature-regulated, clothing. It never gets too hot. You got a perfect control over it, and you can recharge those batteries. No sweat. You know what else? Maybe you want to tweet. You want to post on the go. Guess what, guys? Action Heat has got you covered. You can actually charge your phone or any other gadget while you're wearing them. So, look, I mean, that's pretty much a win-win. You stay warm and you post. Two of my favorite things. Folks, if you want to, kind of get ahead of this, we got a special deal for you. You're going to get 15% off your entire order when you go to actionheat.com. That's ACTION-heat.com and /Celtics, or you use the coupon code Celtics. So, folks, stay toasty and warm out there while you enjoy all your outdoor activities this winter with Action Heat, and we thank them for sponsoring the podcast. All right, folks, Monday Mailbag Edition. We got some great questions in here. I'm going to start with, just a great one. Guys, we're going to start, we got a friend of the pod, Jack Michael 17, wants to know, rank Yabu's individual muscles. You got bicep, tricep, etc. Ryan, I'm going to throw this one to you as the arbiter of thick and jacked frames. What do you think is the tops when it comes to Yabu's muscles?
I mean, the ass first and foremost. Whatever you call those muscles, I'm not a scientist, or doctor, but definitely his delts, definitely his tris,
gluteus.
And I'm telling you, here's an underrated one. His hands are so gigantic that they could literally crush you.
Hands
for it.
This right here, like between the thumb. Great power.
I mean, we saw it on full display with that, them celebrating Yabu's Eurostep earlier today. Like, just raw power in those hands, dancing back and forth. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of any of that. I don't know about you guys.
He can lift many kegs. He's a very, very burly man.
Casks. I think for the French are mostly lifting casks, aren't they? Oh, that's what you carry wine in? I don't know.
I think so. One of those.
Oak barrels.
Oak barrels. We also got one from Szechuan Howard. Wants to know, is North End widening sidewalks to accommodate Yabu's thick, jacked frame? Good idea? Bad idea? I mean, do we want Yabu to stay nimble and able to move around in small spaces, or should we show Yabu the respect that he deserves and sort of widen pathways to accommodate him?
I personally think they need to let him redesign the city entirely.
Yeah, we're a pedestrian-friendly podcast, so as much space as the pedestrians can get, you gotta give it to him.
I feel like he rides a bicycle a lot.
Yeah,
I think he's down with bikes.
Yes, I definitely. Now the question is, you always have a brown paper bag of groceries on the front with a single baguette sticking out of the top, or is that too French? Brie.
And he always has the 10-pound jar of gummies for tea.
Yes, the Dunkin' Donuts. He's just doing deliveries for Dunkin' Donuts. The one service day, they never told him to stop, so he's just being really helpful to everyone, at the Braintree.
The greatest part of it is he comes in with all that candy, and a solid half of the team is vegan now, like Kyrie, Jalen, and Marcus. So it was literally all for Yabusele and Terry.
His perfect day is just like rolling down to the Commons with, baguette and some raw milk camembert, and he's just gonna go to town, just break that shit up, scoop a little on there.
Perfect. It's perfect. Let's get. I want to stick with the Yabu part of the pod.
Hell yeah.
We got one from another friend of the show, David Wham and Cheese. He wants to know, does the Kyrie Yabu dance confirm that those two are actually Daft Punk, French, and wear masks? Good point, guys. If they're the masterminds behind the song Around the World, and what does that mean for the flat Earth theory if they are Daft Punk?
Man,
a lot going on. Some galaxy brain stuff right there.
Yeah, it's very metaphysical.
Yeah, so we're learning a lot about energies. I'm just gonna put this out there because I feel like Daft Punk is very reliant on light shows, and I feel like Kyrie Energy would not rely on an external force of color and energy to power things like that. Like Kyrie Irving would perform like very much like Josh Radin, and just like tell everyone like not to look at him and like scream at people if like anyone opened their eyes during a performance, because he wants everyone to feel his energy and just how extremely like just Kyrie. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Do you guys think that there's a possible way that they could actually be Daft Punk?
Okay, so I've got a working theory. Not Kyrie.
Yeah, hit me with that.
It's Jalen and Jason. Because we can rule out Kyrie's going to be doing either psychedelic artwork or interpretive dance, so we rule him out initially. Smart, he would be doing anti-art, kind of like Marcel Duchamp, where it just makes no fucking sense. And so it really, I think it's either going to be Jalen and Jason. I think they're funky enough. I think they've got the low-key comedy thing down. It's them.
Yeah,
they have the most like music contacts too. They're like always hanging with Gucci. Like the next if we see a Daft Punk CD with Gucci on it, like we already know it's Jalen making moves.
The hand right there. We actually had a game tonight too. I guess we should probably talk about that, as much as I want to keep it about Yabu the whole time. And we got a question here from Kyrie Ridiculous, it is in the name, and that's Kyrie Ridiculous N. He wants to know if Baines gets brownie points for adopting Drummond as his son. I mean, yeah, guys. Andre Drummond got snuffed out tonight. Like this was a Pistons team that looked really scary. When they beat the Celtics at home, and I'm not totally sure where those guys were tonight.
It's really weird when you have the same team score the most points on you and the least points on you in like less than a month. But yeah, this was all about big body Baines in the post.
Yeah, I just feel like if you had Tobias Harris, I know, was like out of his mind and hit like a ton of hard shots in that first game, but that it wasn't all him. Like but I also don't really feel like the Celtics played like that differently. Was this just like a no-show by the Pistons tonight, or like can the Celtics take a little credit for this?
Reggie got really taken out of his game. There was I think in the third quarter there was a stretch where Smart really took him down to the post and just clobbered him. Like I think twice in a row, one for a basket down low, and then another one he basically leveraged it into being 4-on-5, getting it to Tatum on the 3-point line. But like Jackson, third quarter really took himself out of the game, and probably if they had gone to Ish Smith sooner, it would have been a lot closer down the stretch, because he really brought it. It was good to not have Tobias just rain hellfire on us tonight. He was pretty good, but it was nothing like that first game where he couldn't miss. So it was just one of those games. It was a funky game, 4 p.m. start time. The Celtics are in the middle of like 20 games in 10 days. So you're going to get some cosmic slop in there sometimes. But all things considered, being able to keep Drummond off of his spots, and he could have been a lot worse in terms of dominating us.
They controlled the boards, which I think can translate. The shooting, I think, on both sides was really wacky. Like nobody was hitting shots.
Yeah.
And Reggie Jackson was like the anti-Smart. He was like 0 points and a -21. And if that was Smart, it would have been like a +60. So 9, maybe.
Hey, you know what? Speaking about, plus 60, listen up, Who's fans. If you want to get plus 60, go up on the house, guess what? Basketball season is back, and that means your favorite hardwood heroes have returned to action, and it's time for you to put your fantasy knowledge to the test and win huge cash prizes every night playing One Day Fantasy at DraftKings.com. They've got beginner and casual contests where you'll play against people of a similar skill level. So, like for me, that would be the highest one because, I'm low-key genius. So, you could ask me or Dan from St. Louis, Jeremy from Austin. Both these guys turned a $300 entry into $1,000. I turned a $20 entry into a $20 entry by treading water. But, hey, I'm going to come back. But there's huge cash prizes and bragging rights await, and they're only at DraftKings.com. Look, folks, we got one more thing for you here, too. If you want to use the code CLNS at DraftKings.com, you can play free with your first deposit and get a share of $10,000 in total prizes tonight. Don't wait. Use the code CLNS at DraftKings.com now to choose your lineup, and you can cash in tonight. That's code CLNS only on DraftKings.com, the game inside the game. Disclaimer, the minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Okay, guys, I was saving this question for the very end of the mailbag because this is one I'm really anxious to get into, and I think this is a great question. And we want to take this seriously because it's a very important question.
Hell yeah!
Gordon Hayward was streaming Hearthstone on Twitch today. Does this mean he's uncommitted? Maybe I should field this question first, and I'll say, unequivocally yes. I mean, if you if you're committed, you're playing League of Legends or Overwatch. You're especially playing Overwatch. Gordon of all people should understand, the power of healing with him going through this recovery process. And he should know that there are not enough mercies as is in Overwatch. So just to see him out there, not putting his gamer skills to a true test and playing some noob nonsense like Hearthstone, it's incredibly disappointing. I think the Celtics should cut him today, right?
You got to think that a sports psychologist told him to pick up the Hearthstone because that doesn't seem like his default. I think he's going more League of Legends, but we really gotta keep a close eye on him. You never know what he's gonna do. He might defect.
He's gonna go.
Yeah, I think he just needs some leisure time. He needed to charge up with those tunes. Do you hear what he was just bumping that that drum and bass hard with the Hearthstone. He just wanted to chill out, have a good time, talk about some flat Earth Kyrie stuff. It's all chill. We're big on InfoWars here. I've got a little InfoWars theory for you guys. I got a little InfoWars theory for you guys. Okay. What if this is not actually Gordon Hayward, but he's actually been replaced by a crisis actor, and it's actually Jonas Jerebko. And Gordon Hayward is actually still in Utah wearing Jonas Jerebko's body. Because, Jonas Jerebko is a gamer, and this would all of this behavior would make perfect sense for Jonas Jerebko. Folks, I smell a conspiracy. I've seen the documents. Siri, who is Gordon Hayward working for? Tell me. Who is he working for?
Folks, I've seen the documents.
Folks are within arm distance. Marcus Martin carries here. They smell like sulfur.
Marcus,
they were speaking in tongues. I didn't know what they were saying. It was the devil.
They keep talking about this Olajay factory. I swear to God, that's an underground bunker full of Antifa super soldiers. We need to get down there right quick.
Everybody knows that the Ojale factory was opened in Waco, Texas, and that when the government compound was seized,
they smell like sulfur just because they're eating thousands of raw eggs a day to maintain the jacked frame.
Terry is living off of raw bacon bits, his entire diet, and he just smells like sulfur.
Bacon bits and brown sugar.
This team is incredibly fun, and I'm really excited just to kind of see what happens with the season. I mean, it's kind of incredible that they just lost their best player on the first day, and I'd say, I don't know how you guys felt, but I feel like that first Detroit Pistons loss was the most demoralizing one of the year So to like have them, bounce back today, this afternoon, and it kind of tightened up there with like 3 minutes to go left in the fourth. But other than that, like the Celtics just defended them with like no mercy at all. Really, only Ish Smith could do anything against anyone in that game. And I just think that was like a game that really made me feel a lot better about the Celtics, because it made me like remember, all other teams will have good games against the Celtics and bad games. Like there's no, just because a team beats the Celtics doesn't necessarily mean that they're a better team. Am I the only one that feels like that?
Yeah, it was good to get it over Detroit. Other than Miami, the loss against the Spurs, it was kind of like Manu's the OG, but at the same time, it was like so much went wrong and they had the last shot for it. So that one was pretty rough. To get back during a day game in the middle of a pretty packed stretch of games, it's only going to keep getting better, I think. The offense was bad for most of the game, but there was a portion of the first quarter where I thought it was really, really great execution. Guys moving off ball well, knowing where they need to be. It seems like it's heading in the right direction. I don't think their best ball is behind them, hopefully. And it seems that way with Jalen and Jason always seem to add something every game. Kyrie and Al always seem to add something in terms of their rapport. So moving forward, it's great to get that win over Detroit too, because they wanted it against us the first one. Like they were feeling themselves afterwards.
Yeah, they seemed like, I think I saw Ryan Bernardoni at Danger Gun. I think he tweeted that like, did they like think, was that like their finals and then this is their off season now? They were so locked in for that game, and then just I don't know.
Have they won a game since that? That was their last win, right?
I think
they've lost 6 straight. Yeah,
6 straight. Yeah, so brutal stretch for the Detroit basketball. I mean, in their defense, I mean, like I feel like it's got to be tough to come out of the halves energized with that, like the crowd issue that they have going on. Like that was a huge mistake. Did you guys? I don't know if you guys were listening to the Celtics feed when Scal was explaining they have all you can eat, all you can drink under there. That was a terrible idea.
Oh yeah,
that was like part of it. Like I don't know. I just feel like
be posting up at the buffet too, man.
I just feel like from what we know from the history of Detroit basketball, giving Detroit basketball fans unlimited alcohol is not a great idea. History will bear it out. So
it's like they're giving them all they can drink, plus they're serving Little Caesars pizza. So it's like that was just a disaster.
It's like it's essentially Little Caesars is so not complex that it actually accelerates like the ethanol like hitting your system.
It breaks down like super fast.
It breaks down. It just acts like antibiotics, where it just like amplifies the effect of the alcohol. Just everyone is blacked out.
It blocks the resistors from like actually like burning off the alcohol, so it just stays in your system longer, and you just get like more and more drunk.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous with Marcus Morris and Marcus Smart on the team. I don't want to see the Pistons in the playoffs just from the effect of I don't need them getting suspended for whatever series is afterwards from unruly Detroit fans. But I guess Detroit's like kind of a hipster city now, so it's less of that.
Cavaliers Daniel is bringing it back, baby. He bought up the entire downtown. Tell him to unblock me. Tell him he's really going to check out these pictures I have of Semi Ojale's biceps.
All right, folks. You heard it here. Thanks for listening to the show today. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button. CLNS Media, if you're watching us on YouTube. If you like listening to us on the go, subscribe to the Boston Celtics news feed and get on your favorite podcast app, Stitcher, iTunes, whatever you're using. Or you can download the CLNS Radio mobile app. You can also, if you wanted to, at Cavs Dan, let him know to unblock Hayward of Riffs on Twitter. You can follow us
this
on
podcast.
Let him know how thick and jacked his frame is.
Yep.
Of course, Semi-Ojale we're talking about here.
Exactly. You can follow us on Twitter at CLNS Roundtable. We're now on Celtics blog. You can find all of our videos there on Celtics blog.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah. Ryan, thanks so much for coming on today. We got Ryan Hebert. You can catch him on the Real Cool Pod, also on YouTube. If you're not following him already, you got to. Hebert of Riffs, one of the best Celtics follows out there. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Hell yeah, dude. Thank you for having me.
Our next show, we're going to be back tomorrow. We're going to be talking about some more games. Probably a little tighter show than this. This was pretty loose, but hopefully you guys have as much fun as we did today. All right. Thanks so much. You've been watching CLNS Roundtable. Thanks again, guys.